everybody. In this video we're going to take a look at how to defeat the Act 3 Elite, the Giant Head, using a Silent that is at unlock level 4. The current deck that I'm building, if you had followed any of the previous couple of videos with this particular Silent, is mostly a hodgepodge deck, but it is heavily based off of assassin techniques in terms of getting damage out quickly and very potently. There's also some poison mechanics in there as well. The only downside to the poison mechanics is I don't have a catalyst to ultimately double it, so it's tough for me to get real high amounts of poison, but it's enough for mid-level types of enemies that would succumb to that fairly quickly. My relics in play, I have the Shuriken, so when I play 3 attacks in a single turn, I gain strength. That actually happens quite a bit, and it's actually even more important on the boss fights because I end up having many more turns. So these zero cost cards are great for buffing up that strength. Because of the innate nature of this damage, combine that with the fact that all the enemies start out vulnerable, and I start out with the Ikeboko. A lot of times I will draw Die, and Dagger Spray in regular trash mob fights. Makes quick work of most everybody. I think I've even said before that I think I killed Taskmaster in the first turn, or at least one attack into the second turn because of so much damage that's being put out on the first turn. So the thing with the Giant Head then, when we look at the Giant Head, obviously we want to take advantage of the slow buff as much as possible. So something like this here, my goal is to play as many cards as possible, which unfortunately negates the ability to use 1,000 cuts. Because we don't have multiple enemies, 1,000 cuts is a little bit overpriced for what it does, and honestly I don't think this would go along enough where it would really truly matter. I mean, we're talking maybe total of like 20 or 30 total damage for this, for the cost of 2, which you look at something like Backstab and it's 20 plus more, 28 with the vulnerable for 0 cost. So playing this in the first turn is not really a good idea. I would really only try to play this if I had something like the Snecko Oil. Alright, so focusing on defense, obviously not a thing on the first turn. And also, I don't have the ability to do more vulnerability on the first turn. So ultimately, I want to play as much stuff as I can. As far as turns go, I do have 3 1-cost attacks that I can play. That's great. 1,000 cuts will stay as it is. I also have the ability to get a random potion as well. I don't know when this would come up again, so I am going to play it. I have the fire potion for 40. Now, why is this such a great potion? Double the effectiveness of the potions. The Sacred Bark is one of my favorite relics. I'll grab that almost every single time above any other ones. Because look at this one here, 6 Shiv pluses. This is going to go really nicely when I do Act 3 boss, or even if I'm forced to use it on this here. And then the Duplication Potion is fantastic as well. Next 2 cards are played twice. I don't really know exactly when I would use that just yet. I like to keep that as long as possible. Duplication is one of my favorite potions, and I don't like to use it lightly. So we're going to open this thing up with the most attack first. So we want to play cards first. So we'll play Alchemize first. I'm going to use my damage potion here, and then play Alchemize, if only to just increase the slow buff by 1. All the rest of them are attacks. Alright, and then I got a Poison Potion. That's actually pretty good. I don't anticipate using poison anytime really in the future, so I'm going to use that potion as well. Put that right on him to get started. And now, I do have to consider Ikeboko. The first attack is 8 additional damage. I think, mathematically speaking, there's not going to be too much to really calculate in terms of trying to buff this up. Obviously, the higher attack at the end, you would get more benefit from an increased percent of damage. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1 Backstab to start with, and then I'll keep the other one because that is the highest powered attack that I have. It'll get maximized for this attack here. So we'll play 1 to get the initial damage, then we'll just do a cheap strike, dagger strike, die, 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 and then backstab. So first turn, fabulous turn as far as taking his damage down. I am going to take a little bit of damage myself, but I'm not terribly concerned about that. We should be able to get through this without too much trouble. So the only downside of playing that potion now is the Ornithopter was sort of a waste there. I healed when I was already at full health. Terror is definitely a card that's going on him, so now he's got permanent vulnerability. And then now it's just a matter of which card do I want to play. At the start of every turn, 2 poison. Love this card because it basically means that this number will never go down now. So, yep, I'll go ahead and I'll take that. Flying Knee, I almost always play. I don't have an instance where I would ever play this unless I was really forced not to. Because the energy gain on the next turn is just too much to pass up, especially since I don't have any other energy procs this late in the game, which is kind of odd. Usually you'd be sitting on something like a 4 energy, but I don't have that. So, okay, now we have some choices to make. Oh, actually, no, we don't, because he's not going to attack. So Piercing Wail is irrelevant. So my goal is to maximize the turn by playing my highest attacks last to coincide with the slow buff. That's going to be Bane and die, die, die. I got 1 extra one out of there. So now he's over half dead. I'm sitting actually pretty good myself. Should be able to finish him off in, I'm going to guess, maybe 3 turns. I think I can put out 60 damage-ish, plus I got the poison going. No defenses, but Piercing Wail is good. Combine that with Neutralize to weaken him. So we'll play our non-attack cards first. Poison, and then lower the strength. Now I'm actually going to do damage with Neutralize, and then Blade Dance is always a better card than Strike, partially because I'm getting extra damage from the slow buff. So he's going to hit me for another 5, and I got another thing of strength out of that as well. So he is going down quick. Now, ultimately, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at what's after this. I do have a campsite here, so I'm not really concerned too much about the health. If I come through here without a lot of damage, I would probably go after this guy here as well, though there aren't many rest spots after that. So I'm not going for a heart run, so really it's just playing for fun at this point. I don't have any major things to worry about, really. Main goal is to show you how to do this fight here. Finisher, anytime I play attacks, that's great. Blade Dance helps with that. Defend, there's the first big hit that's coming at me. So poison him. I'm not going to worry about defending. So not much I can do at this point. I'm going to have to eat that damage. This is 10, 22 times 3 is going to be 66. So not enough to kill him unless... Yeah, so I'm going to play this. That's kind of a waste at this point. Like I said, it's really just for fun. I'm going to play this one here just to come away with, a win without having to sacrifice too much of my health. Now, I think it was pretty evident that even without that card or that potion, it was going to be a win probably the next turn. If you doubt that, then apparently you've not played the game enough to know that when you're sitting on a victory for the most part, and I think that was pretty clear at that point. But the big thing with this is to ultimately try and get through him before he starts buffing up his attack, because he will just start, he'll start 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. At that point, if you can't absorb it all, which nobody can, you're pretty much screwed. So the next one would have been just as potent, so I think just finish him off was the smart play. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave those below. Otherwise, we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.